Today we bring you a very special video. We are highlighting the experiences of famed USO performer and exceptional supporter of the National Museum of the Pacific War, Elizabeth Johnson. The native Texan dreamed of becoming a Broadway performer. Not only would she be successful on Broadway, she would entertain people all over the world as a member of the largest USO unit in the Pacific Theater. The USO, an organization which oversaw and provided recreation and aid services to the United States Armed Forces, gained fame for its live performances called camp shows, which provided an escape and connection with home to the men and women serving overseas. Betsy's experiences overseas are incredible, so without further ado, here's Betsy in her own words.
I was born in Seguin, Texas. My family, pioneer, cotton farmers, merchants. But when I was 15, I decided I wanted to be a dancer. Where else? On Broadway. Got my first job dancing at the old Hollywood restaurant on 47th Street and Broadway. Between that time and the time I went overseas in 1945, I had worked in about 25 Broadway shows and nightclubs. It was the experimental program of the summer of 1941 that proved both the need and the success of an organization strong enough to send into the field an army of entertainers. The effect on our servicemen surpassed all expectations. It made for happier soldiers. They lost for a brief hour their oppression of homesickness in the first strange weeks in the training camp. It left no doubt that there must be more, enough to match the growing demands of the ever-increasing ranks of Navy blue and khaki. The USO Camp Shows Incorporated was formed. We sailed aboard the USS Monterey. The ship had been outfitted for 500 luxury customers. There were 5,000 of us on board. We landed in Hollandia, New Guinea, and we were immediately handed a blanket and a mosquito net and an army cot. Well, I was the only girl from the Southwest, and thank God I knew what to do with an army cot and how to hang a mosquito net. Our stages were makeshift. Our dressing rooms were little cubby holes. Sometimes the theaters were only used one time. In that 8 months' time, I would say we played at least 6 performances a week. Sometimes we would go to the airports and we would sit from daybreak until daybreak the next day before we could get on a plane. And sometimes one engine would go out, but that didn't seem to bother any of us. We were lucky, very lucky. Well, the USO didn't stop there, USO Camp Shows. It's still going on today, and it's still being funded by donations. Between October of 41 and October of 45, overseas in the United States, there were 293,738 performances given. Outside the United States, there were 88,341,501 attendances on our shows, and a total of 169,700 performances given. And the things that you remember about your overseas, you only remember the good things. You don't remember the bad things. You don't remember the jungles. You don't remember the rain. You don't remember the insects. You don't remember the bombing raids. You don't remember the lousy food. You don't remember anything but the good times. It was a great group of people, and still is. There were a lot of big names. There were your Bob Hopes and your movie stars. But the people that really held USO Camp Shows together were people like me, unknowns. It was a wonderful experience, and I'm very fortunate to have been part of the scene. My professional name was Betsy Berkeley.
We are incredibly grateful to Betsy for sharing her story and contributing her personal World War II mementos, like the scrapbook featured in this video, to the National Museum of the Pacific War's archives and collections. To listen to Betsy's entire interview and thousands of other unique stories captured by the National Museum of the Pacific War's Oral History program, please visit our digital archive online.